responsibility of corporates or not. The eminent speaker is there, one of the stalwarts in this field of commerce management and uh, finance. So the few questions are coming in my mind is that social distancing, the term which are generally we are talking about right nowadays, we are very much conscious about our responsibility so far as the question of COVID-19 is concerned. Now, social distancing does not mean the distancing from social responsibility. We only need to discharge this responsibility while taking necessary precautions and without exposing ourselves or others to take any risk in the current situation. Now, whether CSR plan can be reoriented or not, in the present situation, the business world has been facing a tremendous negative impact due to the pandemic crisis in the world. According to The Guardian, the coronavirus pandemic gave the world economy the fastest and the deepest economic shock. Many businesses continue to work virtually. In other words, we are generally using the word work from home or work from house, but the value of the firm on the stock exchanges continues to bite the dust. A 50% drop on the stock exchanges around the world tags the pandemic crisis on the economy, bigger than World War II and the Great Depression economic crisis. As the world practices social distancing, the businesses and the government should continue to accommodate social responsibility. The pandemic crisis may one day come to an end, but would the nation shall be in a state to thrive the business and market? We have an eminent speaker, the stalwarts in the field of commerce management and finance, Dr. Professor Ashish K. Bhattacharya. Uh, I now formally invite our principal, Honorable Principal, Dr. Ashok Mukhopadhyay sir, to please give a formal welcome address and invite Professor Ashish K. Bhattacharya. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody, and especially the speaker, today's speaker, Professor Ashish Bhattacharya, was associated with IIM Joka and many important and institutions of our countries like ICAR and ICAI and others, as I was told by Piyush. It is a good attempt that Commerce has done this webinar, a new way of seminar. We are not acquainted with such type of seminar. And this is number 2 in the for Commerce. We have 18 to 19 subjects in our colleges. I think it would be more proper, probably it has been decided by the academicians that the responsibility, the social responsibility should be discussed at this time. And it was nicely introduced by Professor Basu too. I welcome Professor Bhattacharya. I welcome the faculty members of my colleges, of my college, and probably from other colleges too. Well, I cannot see them. I was told that some university faculties are there. I would have been very happy if the students would have been included in this and they would have been given chances to come out with their feelings. Probably it is not possible right now. Since it is an academic program, I'll be touching upon 2 points. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm a commerce graduate too, so I have a liability to say something on this particular thing. So I'll be touching upon 2 simple points, one of Gandhi and other one Keith Davis. I'll not be talking about any academic points that will be traded upon by the academicians. Well, I was one magazine, a web magazine, I came to in contact with one tax guru. Tax guru, they say it is a very famous one, and from Maharashtra. It comes from Maharashtra. The other day I found one article It started like that. It opened like that. Not all philosophies and not all theories of Gandhi was relevant today, are relevant today. But obviously the Gandhian economics is very pertinent. Well, why I'm saying this? Because in this scenario, we had to go back to India's, that time after independence, when industrial policy would take place. We all knew that Gandhi wanted an indigenous, the factories and the industries should be localized, and the villages all over India should be self-sufficient. I'm lucky that sometimes I have to give lessons to the graduate students. I do not know why I'm labeled with a management teacher. I never gone through, I never specialized on that. So I was given with a subject rural management. Whenever I ask my student, how many villages are there, do you know? No. Guess? No guess. Sir, 1,000, sir, 10,000. I think many of us are not very much sure about how many villages are there in our country. Nehru did not give importance to Gandhi's philosophy. India road to success, India's industrialization widened the gap between rich and poor. The same thing happened in America. Luther Jr. was rejected. And today's economists are saying this is a failure of market economy. This corona failure. Because we're interested in preparing body cream, and corporates will not give you money for preparing vaccines. Though there was a simulation, the world leaders knew there will be a pandemic. There was a simulation in October only. No, that was not paid that much attention. Within a gap of 1 month, it happened. Forget about the Chinese whistleblower Lee. I have talked about Lee 1,000 times. In last 2-3 webinar, sorry, not seminar. What about the 3 IRS who were church sheeted last April? Why? Because they suggested super tax rich. Super tax. They suggested super tax. Super rich tax. They suggested inheritance tax. No, they were church sheeted. Compare it with Dr. Lee, who was infected and died an early death. And if he was being harmed properly, and if Wuhan was closed immediately, the so-called betrayal would not have happened. I've gone through the timeline of COVID pandemic day by day. Would you say that who has done the right thing? Because in pandemic, you have to work first. You have to manage first. Sir, you will be talking about these things. What about we students are doing? We are studying income tax. How many people in this India are the income tax assessees? Hardly 3%. 100-mark paper is being devoted for graduation, post-graduation, and we are expert on taxation. Teachers on taxation. It's my specialized area. You are serving only 2 to 3% rich people, sir. Please rethink. Please give a thought. Faculties here of the universities, please give a thought. Because in my time, I found in almost all textbooks on accounting, they stated that it was like this and that, but from 1930s, we came to a serious thinking about accounting. I think Corona will work like 1930s Great Depression. You will think seriously something which you have not thought of. Now I'll be talking about Keith Davis, and not about Keith Davis. I mean, I have already forgotten what was written in Keith Davis. When I started my career, I mean, came to the undergraduate college, I remember one of my favorite teachers, who is no more, Amar Banerjee. And he gave an introduction for Keith Davis. You go and read Keith Davis for social responsibilities. I think, sir, at the age of 60, on the verge of my retirement, that his model of social responsibility is too perfect for such imperfect societies. Think about the who's, think about the world leaders. Forget about that. What is corporate, sir? Is it a conglomeration of the aggregate of the individuals? During the pandemic period, I thought, and I was advised by the government, that the entire thing is under lockdown, but college has to run. You make good contacts with the people, with your teachers. I have 200 teachers, 100 staff. And I'm a novice in, in computer technologies. I started a WhatsApp group. Somebody left it. Why? I don't like it. This is American. This is unofficial. Today you are coming out in June, a Chinese app. Yes, this is official. How? What sort of dichotomy we are having? Because we'll be not helping the institution, because we'll be paid sitting idle in home. While corporates, those who are working, their fees are being cut. Some are being told that you don't have to come. And the Indian industries, the monarch, have not managed to keep a reserve for last 30, 40, 70 years to feed these people for only 1 year. But we are thinking of accounting, the sanctum sanctorum of commerce. So, sir, I'm not criticizing you. These are the cries of my heart, sir. I know you are an excellent speaker, and I'll be waiting for you to know from you. How many years we have to wait, sir, for keeping the human resource to come into the balance sheet? We heard about debates. This should not come, this should not come, this cannot be valued, this cannot be that and that. And today the issue is of health of the employees. The value of your employees, which is not reflected in the balance sheet, in those fact books, in the minds of those experts. It is ridiculous, I must say. I'm a student of commerce, it is ridiculous. I admit it is ridiculous. And your standard setting all over the world, including GAP, or what FASB and Indian standard, I do not know. They are unreceptive. If they are receptive, please correct me. I'll be enlightened. They have not come out with an issue, with a technique, with putting the value of human asset in the balance sheet. Because some say it is liabilities, it's not asset. What idiot you are talking about? So I think this is a time when these social responsibilities have lost their clinch. বাংলায় বলি ক্লিশে হয়ে গেছে, ক্লিশে হয়ে গেছে। যখন দাঁড়িয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে পাশের লোকের রেসপন্সিবিলিটি মানতে চাই না, যখন আমরা ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল টিচাররা রেসপন্সিবিলিটি নিতে চাই না, with one allies or other, we try to evade. তখন আমরা ভাবি আরে they given proper respect to Gandhi. You are my father, sir, father of India, but your economic theory will not be taken up. because I have to in tune with America, USA, the Arab industrialization. So with these side talks, I conclude this. And if I say something wrong, if I hurt, I think you will answer it in your academic deliberations. I hope that the internal security and what they call IQAC, the quality assurance cell, should nurture the departments who are not coming up with this webinar, an easy way of seminar, and which maybe teachers may claim number for attending webinar. But all departments should come. We have a nutrition department, which is very important for people like me. In this period, what I should eat, what I should not. I'm sorry, sir, for taking your, more than 5-6 minutes time. I congratulate you for attending. I know that some of my teachers who are not from this particular subject, they have also attended this program because of the popularity of Piyush. So I hope Piyush be a success. But no more commerce, come with other subjects too. With my respect to all speakers and Professor Bhattacharya, I take leave. Please continue, sir. It will be recorded and I will listen to your program later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mukhopadhyay. It was very enlightening what you have said. And I don't know whether I have the capability to address all the issues that you have raised, but I have learned a lot. Thank you very much for inviting me also for this webinar. Thank you, Professor Mukhopadhyay. Many thanks for initiating the talk. Thank you. Okay, friends. So I am now sharing the screen. I hope you are able to see the screen and you are able to hear me out. This is an interesting subject, and I am sure that you will find it interesting. You may ask as many questions you like. I will try to answer as per my capacity and within the time constraint. When we talk about social responsibility, of course, we talk about the corporate social responsibility, but I must say that the terminology corporate social responsibility is not the right term, because every business has responsibilities. And therefore, the right term should have been the business responsibility. But in India or even elsewhere, we talk about corporate responsibility because the focus is on large business and not MSME sector or small businesses. What as the topic says, that in India, we have CSR regulations, and we are trying to understand whether introduction of the CSR regulation, making it mandatory, really motivated the business to understand the corporate responsibility. So that is the theme today. And as I have told, that I look forward to your questions, and I will try to answer the questions that you will ask. First of all, we must be very clear that when we talk about a business, we talk about an institution which has committed to do something purposeful for the society, to fulfill some of the needs of the society or a particular segment, but there is a purpose. So the purpose of any business, it cannot be to make profit. That cannot be the purpose of any business. Yet, the business has an economic responsibility. Business has an economic responsibility to generate surplus. Because unless they generate surplus, the business cannot be sustainable, it cannot grow. When we talk about it, if you recall what Professor Drucker said, that customer, serving the customer is the purpose of an organization. We can extend it and say that it is not only the customer, but serving the stakeholders is the purpose of a business. Then second responsibility is the legal responsibility that we all know, to comply with laws and regulations which govern the business. Then comes ethical responsibility, to apply high ethical standards while dealing with all the stakeholders. And then comes the social responsibility, which is to meet societal expectations. I must say that there is no hierarchy in these responsibilities. All the responsibilities are of equal importance. And my listing here does not show the hierarchy. At the same time, if a business fails to fulfill its economic responsibilities, it will not be able to fulfill its social responsibilities. In that sense, you can think about that focus should be on economic responsibilities without ignoring the other responsibilities which are legal, ethical, and social. There are proponents, and I to some extent agree, that there is an overlap between social responsibilities and ethical responsibility. And therefore, it is important for us to understand that sometimes when I will talk about social responsibilities, we may also really talk about, to an extent, the ethical responsibilities. And in our deliberation today, we shall try to understand what we mean by social responsibilities. When we talk about social responsibilities, then we are talking about that, yes, it is right that you have to provide return to investors. So it is important for a business to look at ROI, return on investment, but you have to look beyond that. And then we say that you should be responsive. I think I will emphasize this point. A business should be responsive to the expectations and perceived rights of the human society and other living organisms. I repeat again, that it should be responsive to the expectations of the human society and the perceived rights of the human society and other living organisms. Social responsibility also that a business should be accountable for the use of power and control over resources. Because today's business, when we talk about, it enjoys huge power and it has control over very significant resources. And therefore, as a business, we need to be accountable for use of the power and the control over resources. And finally, we talk about performance obligation. You need to perform. As we measure performance in other functions of the business, similarly, we need to ensure that we perform on social responsibilities as well. Now, what are the expectations, if we talk about, of the human and other living organisms? What they expect? I will come to that later. But for the time being, let us say that when we talk about expectations, the expectations need to be identified by the business and they should respond to those expectations. We shall discuss about expectations little later. Then we talk about the dimensions of social responsibility. First, configuration of the principle of social responsibility. Here we are coming to talk about the expectations of the society. The most important expectation of the society is that you will create positive externalities. You will provide safe goods and services. You will ensure the safety of the people in the society. You will use your power and control. You will use your power and control to bring social equality. You will not use your power and control over resources to inflict pain on the society. Don't create negative externalities. Now, this is the philosophical aspect. This is the understanding of the social responsibility. Now, it comes to the institutional orientation, process of social responsibility. We say that as a business, we need to respond, we need to be responsive to the expectations of the society, to the rights of the human society. Now, if this is important, then as an institution, you should orient yourself to respond to that. You recall that of late we started talking about the VUCA world. And in that we said that an organization should be resilient enough to respond to the societal changes, which are very fast. We say disruption is a rule, and every company, every business organization is at the transformational stage all the time. We say anti-fragility. You prepare yourself for the shocks. and come out stronger. But when it comes to the social responsibility, we need to create a culture, which we don't do within the organization. We talk about risk management, and we say there should be a shared value about what is the risk appetite of the organization, what is the risk management, what is the approach to the risk management of the organization. We talk about organization culture. But when we talk about organization culture, we often ignore the concept of social responsibility. We don't educate our employees, our colleagues, what the organization feels about social responsibility. And therefore, we feel that perhaps somewhere we are lacking in institutional orientation. Then comes the policies, programs, and outcomes as they reflected in the social relationships. Yes, if you look at the CSR, then the Companies Act says that there should be a CSR committee. We should formulate policies, we should formulate plans, we should look at the expected outcome, we should evaluate the expected outcome. These are on the papers. They are important, no doubt. But unless you institutionalize the thought of social responsibility, this will not work. Therefore, I feel that these three dimensions often we ignore the most important dimension of institutionalizing the social responsibilities. Social responsibilities are often classified into intrinsic, which is voluntary, which comes from the social movements, for example, human rights movements or Chipko Andolan, or it comes from the activism, for example, environment or general equality, if there is activism, and advocacy. Now, these we call intrinsic. For example, in USA, there is no law. No one mandated the social responsibilities. But the organizations, they talk about social responsibilities. They work for social responsibilities. Then there is extrinsic, which is mandatory. For example, in India. In India, the CSR regulation started as recommendatory. Now it is moving towards making it mandatory. It is extrinsic. We shall debate whether intrinsic is better or extrinsic is better. It is important for business to understand that there is a business case for social responsibilities. If you look at the research, which talks about or endeavors to correlate the financial performance with social responsibilities, the results are not conclusive. Some say it is positive, some research shows it is negative, some could not come to any conclusion. But if you look at the history of US, some of the authors who are thought leaders, some of the articles you will find, they say that initially, before 1990s, that is 80s, I must tell you that this discussion, deliberations, discourse on social responsibility started in 1950s. I am talking about US, then 60s, then a lot of thoughts came in 70s, then 80s, and only after 90s, it was found that the analysts are looking at how the company is performing in the area of social responsibility. Earlier to that, the relationship was negative. And then it developed over a period of time. And today everyone is talking about corporate social responsibility or business social responsibility. Again, I will come back to this intrinsic and extrinsic. In India, it is extrinsic. Some may argue that even in India, philanthropy was always existed. Philanthropy was there. There are a large number of examples of the philanthropic activities of the business. But the nature of CSR has now changed. Although we say it is voluntary, but it may not be philanthropic. It may not be discretionary. Today we are saying that you have a responsibility. We are using the word responsibility. And whenever we talk about obligation, responsibility, it is not philanthropy. It is something different. One, it is almost a compulsion for you because you got legitimacy from the society. We start a business. You are much more powerful than many of the states. And therefore, you have to contribute in improving this society. And earlier when we talk about philanthropy, then philanthropy by definition is that you contribute, you pay something to someone, you do something for someone in a selfless manner. You don't expect a benefit from that. But when we talk about social responsibility, there are benefits, but which may not be quantifiable, which may not be immediate, which may be very, very long term. And therefore, today when we talk about the social responsibility, we say it is voluntary, but not discretionary. It is not philanthropic as well. There is no question so far, so I am continuing with what I am talking about. But if you have any question, you can definitely ask it. In between also, I will try to answer. There are certain terms that are being used which can be complementary and competing, like stakeholder management, corporate citizenship, sustainability, triple bottom line, conscious capitalism, shared value. Shared value, I must emphasize here, I must explain that shared value is not social responsibility. Shared value is a strategy. Shared value is a strategy. And it says that you look at the need at the bottom and develop out of it business opportunities. And therefore, shared value is more a strategy than a social responsibilities. And therefore, those who propagate that shared value is a social responsibility, they are wrong. They are not right. Therefore, we shall not say that the shared value is a competing terms or complementary terms of social responsibility. But yes, when we talk about corporate citizen, we are saying that as an individual, if you are wealthy, you have certain responsibilities toward the larger society. Similarly, when we say triple bottom line, that is also absolutely important. I will elaborate on it. we all know about it, and the term was coined in 1995. And at that time, the proponent says that triple bottom line has 3Ps, and a company's performance should be assessed, should be evaluated with reference to those 3Ps. One is profit, that is economic responsibility we talked about. Second is people. When we talk about people, we are not talking about people within the organization. We are talking about people in large, human community as such we are talking about. And third is planet, that is environmental responsibility. If you look at after 1995, this was elaborated further. And in subsequent elaboration, it was made clear that when we talk about triple bottom line, we are talking about creating wealth, material wealth. We are also talking about that when we talk about people, we are not talking about only the health of the people or welfare of the people as such. We are talking about creating a community which is equal in all respects. So equality, lack of discrimination, because today if you see in world, we are talking about a discrimination based on the race, based on the color. In India, we talk about discrimination based on caste, based on color as well. And there is a lot of inequality in terms of economic and social, gender inequality and so on. So when we talk about people, we are talking about, can you please work towards reducing this inequality? Equality is the key term. Equality within the organization, equality within the community, equality between communities, and equality among nations. And therefore, triple bottom line, something which captures the basic idea of social responsibilities. It includes environmental responsibilities as well. The reason being, the social expectation is, please don't pollute air and water. Please don't degrade the other natural resources. It says, preserve the other natural resources to the extent possible. There are two questions which I find. Let me try to answer those two questions. One is from Sudipta Ghosh. He said, do you think that CSR audit is the need of the hour? Sudipta, my first concern is whether we understand social responsibilities. That is the theme of the day. And I will talk about CSR audit at the end, because I will like to answer the question after we understand what is CSR. Then the question is from Dr. Manavendra Shekhar Bhadro, who is saying, what are the vulnerable areas that corporates in India can work for social responsibility during this pandemic? That also I talk at the end, Professor Bhadro. And then Anulekha Banerjee is saying, do you think extrinsic CSR is most applicable to developing underdeveloped economic than intrinsic CSR? No, Anulekha, even in some European countries, there is no direct law that is not incorporated in corporate law, but there are indirect way. There are institutions which are mandating the CSR in a very, very indirect manner. Therefore, I will come to all these questions. These are reasonable questions, valid questions at the end before I close. But you can continue to ask questions so that I will keep that in mind and I will talk about it. Now, if you look at CSR, the law you all know, so I will not repeat the law. It talks about spend 2% of average past 3 years profit, you all know that. And if you look at the record of CSR, you will find that most of the cases, most of the companies, most of the projects, the companies implement in collaboration with either NGOs or foundations or other institutions. Now, this is against the spirit of CSR. In most companies, there is a CSR team which coordinate with all these external agencies, which develop the plan, support the CSR committee, but the most of the employees are out of the CSR activities. Although some companies reported that some employees voluntarily participate in the CSR activities, but what I think is that it is minimal. And therefore, the way CSR is being implemented is not exactly the way we understand the social responsibility. Then companies try to search for operating expenditure to be classified as CSR. That means before the law was enacted, the companies used to do a lot of things which resulted in positive externalities. And now they are saying that those activities are a part of CSR. I will give two examples. One is Hindustan Unilever Shakti Amma. That means it was nothing but empowering the women through training only to sell the products of the Hindustan Unilever Limited. So there is a lot of positive externalities in this, but this is a part of your operations. Second is ITC's case in their Bhadrachalam paper plant in South India.
जल्दी आओ सब खेलो खेलो हो गया मैम बुला रही हूं मैम बुला रही हूं
In that you will find you will find
देखो 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 फ्रेंड कितना सुंदर बनाया
so you will find there that they have developed barren lands for producing the trees which are required for the paper mills and for agarbatti making. There is also a lot of positive externalities.
Capital letter Z. Right, capital letter.
Please switch off your audio microphone. So there are a lot of positive externalities, but they are also operating expenses. So this is the trend that we find among the corporates, and that is not very interesting trend we talk about. Now let us say that if you look at the expenditure, you will find most of the expenditure is in education, almost 45% or 49%. But mostly you will find that this expenditure are being incurred for vocational training, for higher education. For example, Geo Institution of Excellence, that is also a part of CSR. And 50% of the Reliance CSR expenditure is allocated for that university. Now there are various interesting articles you will find which talks about that the choice of the CSR project depends on the controlling shareholders and also managers, because they enhance their reputation. They enhance their reputation by investing in all this which really does not serve the social responsibility, but definitely bring reputation to individuals and perhaps to the organization and benefit the shareholders. So that is not social responsibility. Similarly, when we look at the health and sanitation, there are companies which create negative externalities. For example, mining company, electricity company, that means coal ignited electricity. Then you will find that they are spending a lot of money in mobile hospitals, etc. So they are in that way internalizing the cost of negative externalities. Is this CSR? The answer is again you cannot inflict pain and reduce the pain and say that I have spent on CSR, although it benefits the local community. I will not get into it further because we don't have much time. We have another 10 minutes. I will like to answer the questions. But before I close, let me look into the questions here. Okay, feedback from etc. etc. What could be the long-term impact on CSR and consumer ethical decision making? Okay, we shall discuss that also. So what I was talking about, that the way we are implementing the CSR in India is really not fulfilling the social responsibilities. For example, recently you have seen the migrant workers. It does not reflect well on companies or corporate or businesses concerned about people. We talk about one of the expectation is provide safe workplace. Do they provide? Cutting cost is the norm of many large companies. And when we talk about cutting cost, they squeeze the MSMEs because they have more bargaining power. Take example of automobile sector and automobile industry, that relationship. And if you squeeze the MSMEs, your ancillary units, then you really cannot ask them to spend on social responsibilities. When we talk about large organizations, then social responsibility also implies that you will look at the partners, small partners in your value chain, in your supply chain, and you will ensure that they are also following the concept of social responsibility. That is not happening. I don't say that it is only in India, even it is globally also that is happening. Irresponsible product promotion. If you look at the Fair and Lovely cream, then what HUL did? It took advantage of the psychology of the people at that time, women at that time. And it generated and it marketed it to take advantage of that psychology, which is again a discrimination, which is a color discrimination, we can say in India. But it has not put any effort to eliminate that color discrimination. Sell products that are not safe. There are a lot of toys we find which are dangerous for babies and junk food for children. Lack of efforts in changing the society. Now, this is the scenario of CSR in India, and therefore, I feel that India CSR law is not motivating the companies, the business, to fulfill their social responsibilities. Now, implicit social responsibility is good. This should be read as explicit social responsibility. Sorry, it is a typographical error. It is not implicit. In CSR, if you read it, there is potential to breed corruption. That means you can create your own foundation to benefit yourself. You can select an NGO where some of your relatives are the members, are the partners, they are the NGOs you can operate. Potential to develop the practice of issuing checks rather than using the core competence and other resources for the social benefit. Potential to perceive social obligation as supplementary to the efforts of the government to deliver the social services. That is very dangerous. And management does not feel the importance of sensitizing the employees. So my conclusion is CSR regulation has failed, could not make the company socially responsibility, and it will happen. It will be a business case if customers and investors feel that companies that is good in fulfilling social responsibilities are preferred. If that happens, it will be a business case. And I can tell you that in many countries, particularly when I look at the research in US and European countries, they say that those who fulfill social responsibilities are more transparent. Even in India, there is a paper by Professor Ashima Goel who says that their companies incur expenditure on CSR to attract FDIs. So the question is, when the investor will value the CSR because it brings more transparency. And in a way, those who are investing in CSR also have a lot of advantages. They get the idea of new product, they find out what is the research that help in research, and that also manage a lot of risk. And of course, that build reputation. And therefore, so long as government will only pressurize, make it mandatory, it is nothing but a kind of tax. So business should try to bring positive changes. That is what we expect. And therefore, we expect change. Now, there were few questions, as I said, and I will like to answer those questions. One question was about whether CSR audit is important. The question is, whatever may be the audit, because after all, the auditor who certifies the balance sheet also audit the CSR expenditure. And there are companies which have audit about the impact of CSR expenditure on the beneficiaries, but not so much on the company. And therefore, CSR audit might be important, but first we should understand that what is CSR and whether companies are fulfilling the social responsibility. To my mind, they are not fulfilling, and therefore audit will only help to ensure that they are doing something which they are saying, but their audit will not help to understand whether they are fulfilling the social responsibilities. What would be the likely impact of COVID-19 on CSR reporting? I think COVID-19 will have a very bad impact on CSR. Reporting might be all right, but unless they have money, many companies will come out of the criteria for CSR expenditure, and therefore CSR expenditure will go down very significantly because companies will not be able to generate profit and they will not be able to spend all the money. But reporting will not change. They will report what they are doing. But we should again look at that in COVID-19, how they have really spent the money. That will be reflected in 2020-21 financial statements, and we have to wait for that. Then what could be the long-term impact on CSR and consumer ethical decision making? I don't think that we are so conscious that we support the companies which fulfill their ethical and social responsibilities. We need to work on that and see that whether we are changing our stance and we are only focusing on companies for investing which are doing business ethically and investing in social responsibilities. Another question from Professor Pintu Sarkar: what would be the likely impact of COVID-19 on CSR reporting? I have already answered that. Then there is a question from Professor Bhadra: do you think a good teamwork of corporate and government may enable corporate to perform social responsibility more effectively? No, I don't think so, because government intervention means more corruption, and government should not decide that what should be the CSR responsibility of a particular company. Even Schedule 7 gives a lot of items, and I can tell you that ONGC contributed 50 crores for Statue of Unity and classified it for rural development. So this is a kind of dishonesty, and this will come up, and politicians will try to squeeze the CSR funds for them. So I don't think that government should intervene, rather what they are doing now is incorrect. Do you think the failure of CSR has an adverse impact in effective corporate governance? The question of CSR and corporate governance really does not go hand in hand. And I believe that there might be some kind of problem arises, but corporate governance is weak in the sense that social responsibility out of their mind. They never discuss about social responsibility except CSR committee fulfilling the compliance. So friends, I have answered all the questions, and if you have any other question, you can ask now. Otherwise, we shall close here because time is up. Yeah, Professor Ghosh,
This is Shundeep Mitra from Shona College. I have posted a question. Please, sir.
Okay, Anulekha Banerjee has posted a question, I see. Okay, Shayoni Nayak has also posted a question. How should social...
This is Shundeep Mitra from Shona College. Please, sir. I have posted a question.
Okay, let me see.
A long three questions.
Three questions.
Three questions. Yes, long three questions. I have posted already.
Okay,
Actually,
Can you please talk about the question? You can switch on your audio and you ask
Okay,
the question.
okay,
That will be easier for me.
okay. Should I ask?
Yeah, please.
As we know that the whole philosophy behind the CSR was to use the business efficiencies and innovations of the private sector in delivering public goods and services. Now, the inclusion of PM CARES Fund into CSR ambit is a convenient tool to soften the outcome of the inadequate fiscal preparedness. Do you agree?
Fully.
And second question is,
I
do you
agree with
think
you.
that, oh, okay, sir. Yes. Second question is, do you think that there is a mutation in the CSR landscape in India, considering the consequence of COVID-19 and the other social sectors will be severely hampered, affected due to
but we don't know exactly what is
heavy
going to
donation is
happen.
going to PM CARES Fund.
No, that is all right. Actually,
How to
if
manage
you
this
look at the
in future?
companies, they are also not taking care of bringing social equity. They are not addressing social inequality, which is most important. Look at the migrant workers. I am giving an example because that was very visible. Look at the kind of treatment being given to contract workers. So we should not worry about it so much. But yes, writing check will become a practice and it will go to the PM's fund.
Please highlight about the trading of excess CSR certificate in trading exchange.
No, I don't think that is required. It is unimportant.
It
Okay,
has been recommended by the high-level committee of SEBI.
No, it might have recommended. That does not mean I should agree with that high-level committee.
Thank you, sir.
It should not be traded.
Sir,
because money payment is not very important in CSR. These how you are impacting the life of people. We who are not your stakeholders. Please keep that in mind. Okay, please. Who else have question here? One question is, do you think that in India we should change our corporate culture to inculcate implicit CSR? It is a political ambition to make it explicit CSR, so I don't think it will change immediately. And unless our conscious capitalism, which we talk about, unless the consumers and investors think about that CSR is important, implicit CSR will not work. Only the large companies which has philanthropic record will spend on CSR. Do you think the companies use CSR to popularize their reputation? Yeah, reputation always increases than doing welfare to the people at large. I have already said that it might be the building the reputation of the company and the promoters or the managers, but it may not help the larger society, who are marginalized society, I will say. Perhaps I could answer all the questions. One question: how should social responsibility be taught in classes?
I have one question.
Yeah, please ask.
I have one question.
But this is the last question.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah,
Sir,
please.
My question is what?
I am unable to listen your question. Please, we are unable to listen your voice.
Hello.
Yeah, now you ask the question. Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm just taking the host's microphone. Actually, I want to say that the session is just about to be an end.
Yes.
And exactly.
Hello.
Exactly. No more questions are now to be entertained. I think I think the chat box is open still now, and you can put your more questions. I am Ovik Chattopadhyay from S.A. Jaipuria College, evening shift, and as Mr.
You share the question with me, and I will try to answer them.
Yes. Taking the responsibility, I am saying that I will definitely convey all the questions to Professor Bhattacharya later. And I want to say that now it is just time to vote of thanks. And as Professor Piyush Kumar Basu is absent right now because he failed to rejoin in the session. That's
Okay,
why
fine.
I have taken the microphone. And sir, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this wonderful session. And it is our, we are privileged enough. We are thankful to you. No words we can explain for that. Cordially thankful to all the participants, all the listeners for joining this webinar. Actually, sir, this is our first attempt in a webinar session as we have arranged it for the first time from Jaipuria College evening shift. And we are thankful to everyone for this wonderful session to make this webinar successful. And obviously, in future, we expect you, sir, Professor Bhattacharya. Definitely, we will expect you in future for our another session.
Sure, it is my pleasure and I will definitely participate. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Sir, we learned a lot, and from the point of view of CSR, there are lots of areas are uncovered and lots of areas I think yet to be discussed. In future,
Yeah,
also the platform is open, and for the YouTube participants, those who are in the YouTube platform, I'm solely requesting the participants that somehow the chat box was disabled, I know, and that's why I want to tell all the participants that feedback form we definitely will share in the mail. That means I personally will mail all of the participants in YouTube platform also, and you can easily fill up those feedback form and finally get the e-certificates. Okay, thanks a lot, sir. And from the IQSC, Professor Pine, if Professor Radhanath Pine, sir, is present, sir, I shall cordially request Professor Pine to unmute and say something, sir.
I have now another meeting, so we have to.
Okay, sir.
Little quick.
Okay, sir. You may take leave, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you all the participants. Thank you all the participants. Yes, it is audible.
Now, thank you all who have made this program successful and made it clear to us about some points of CSRs through Professor Bhattacharya. It's an honor for whole college IQAC cell that we are able to bring Professor Bhattacharya on the screen, and a very illuminating lecture by our principal. Firstly, thank you all, Abhi, Kashirvani, and above all, Piyush is there. He was given a good leadership, and all the evening staffs. I, on behalf of IQAC cell, always thank you very much. Thank you, Abhi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Definitely missing you, Professor Piyush Kumar Basu. Sir will definitely contact all of the participants personally later by mail. Okay, thank you.